Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7. So tomorrow, for when this video comes out, yes, tomorrow we finally have the long-awaited Elseworlds crossover hitting our screens, which should be amazing. But this crossover is following the mid-season finales of all the shows involved back in episode 8 of the week that just passed. And oh boy, did all the shows have cracking mid-season finales. But Arrow finally revealed a mystery that had been going on since episode 1 aired, and really it started back when the first trailer for this season was released back at Comic-Con in July. And of course, that big mystery was the mysterious, new or fake or copycat Green Arrow, who was going around Star City playing Robin Hood whilst Oliver was in prison. Now, going into this season, and obviously throughout the season after it started airing on TV, the theories started rolling in as to who this, new or fake Green Arrow was. The hot pick was that this new Green Arrow was Roy Harper, then it was Thea Queen, she started, then Malcolm Merlin, then Iris West, and even Future William was a theory for some, which would have been Arrow taking it a bit too far if I think that was the case. But the true identity of the new Green Arrow was actually leaked about a month or so ago, maybe a bit longer ago, thanks to Spoiler TV when they posted the title for episode 10 for this season, which is the mid-season premiere, and that will be released on January 14th or 15th. And that title was My Name is Emiko Queen, with episode 8 being called Unmasked, so 2 + 2 = 4, the new Green Arrow was Emiko Queen. And that was revealed finally in episode 8, right at the beginning when we saw her training in a very season 1 Oliver style, and then suiting up as this new Green Arrow when a TV report comes on about Oliver Queen. Now, episode 10 has since had its episode title changed from My Name is Amico Queen to something else, something pretty cliche, I think. And it's obvious why they did that. However, once something hits and leaks onto the internet, it's sort of hard to remove any trace of it. So a lot of us knew that it was Amico Queen going into episode 8. But yeah, as I said, Emiko was revealed to be the new Green Arrow early on last episode, but it wasn't until right at the end of the episode that we learned that she is properly Emiko Queen when we see her at Robert Queen's tombstone, and she refers to him as Dad and even talks about Oliver briefly. Now, they didn't say Emiko in the episode or anything like that, but if you are a Green Arrow fan, you knew straight away that this was Emiko. Now, some people were asking about the fact that the Queen Mansion was burned down in the background of those shots, because most of you would know that actually never happened on the show. Now, that actually happened in the tie-in comics for the show, so I think that was just put in there to not only be in canon, or make those comics in canon, but it's almost there as a wink to the fans that read those comics. I just had a lot of people asking and wondering about that, so I thought I would just make sure that it was known now to everyone watching that was the case, and that's why it was burned down. It happened in the comics. But the big question, who is Emiko Queen? What is her history, and how could she, play into this season? Well, we're going to go over that, but be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on what we go over. What are your expectations for Emiko this season? Are you excited to have her on the show? The actress that plays her is C. Shamuka. I will leave her Instagram and Twitter linked in the description down below. Go follow both if you want to stay up to date with all the stuff she's doing. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on it to show support for the video and the channel as a whole. Now, in the comics, Emiko was first introduced in 2013, and she was revealed to be the daughter of Robert Queen, as we saw on the show, but her mother was Shadow, and she was born on Starfish Island, which is the island that Oliver Queen washed up on and was stranded on in the comics. So it is just the comics version of Lian Yu. But Emiko was stolen shortly after her birth by Komodo, who we had appear back in season 3 of Arrow. Now, Komodo actually raised her to believe that she was his daughter and trained her to become both a skilled warrior and archer. However, after discovering the truth about her heritage, Emiko went YOLO and killed Komodo and went on to find and join forces with her brother, Oliver. Of course, it does remain to be seen how much of Emiko's origin story from the comics will be adapted onto Arrow. Episode 8 obviously suggests that Robert Queen is still her father in this universe due to the fact that, she calls him her father, but her mother's identity is still up in the air. So far in the past of the Arrowverse, there has been no indication of any connection between Robert and Shadow, so due to this, Emiko would most likely have a different mother in the Arrowverse. A possible contender is that of Shadow's twin sister May, who we did see in the season 3 flashbacks, or it could be another character entirely. Some options that have been thrown about are that of Talia al Ghul, Isabel Roshev, and even Lady Shiva. But they could just have it that Robert just had something with a Japanese woman in the past, a child came from that relationship, and then something tragic may have happened that has led Emiko to, track down the family history on her father's side, which now brings her to Star City this season. But regardless of whatever plans the show has for Emiko's family heritage, it seems likely the series will be taking a page from the comics and revealing that Robert had much closer ties to other things connected to this season than his son would have ever suspected. Which in turn could bring about the return of flashbacks, whether they be just for one episode or a handful in the early or middle stages of Emiko's development on the show. Obviously, we can see that she is highly trained, she's almost up to, or she might be up to Oliver's standard essentially, so you would have to think that she learned from someone that taught Oliver or someone who would have been capable of doing that. Now, since her first appearance back in 2013, Emiko has remained a recurring character in the Green Arrow comics. At the moment, she serves as the holder of the Red Arrow mantle. The relationship between the two of Oliver and Emiko is a strong one, but it isn't all flowers and rainbows, and they do tend to come head to head, or they butt heads at, sometimes over certain problems and issues. And it really wouldn't be too surprising to see Arrow go down a similar road to this. While we have Roy Harper in the future flash forward storyline for this season, the series is currently without a Red Arrow, Speedy, or Arsenal in the present day. So due to this, it wouldn't be too surprising to see Emiko give the Green Arrow mantle and name back to her brother at some point early on when we return from the mid-season finale, and then become his partner in crime fighting. The biggest difference between their relationship from the comics to the TV side of things will most likely be their age. Emiko is much younger in the comics than she will be on the show, and it seems like they might be making Emiko around Thea's age, maybe a bit younger. But with the CW shows, it is hard to tell. Emiko could be goddamn 16 on the show and she just looks a bit older. Who knows what they're doing? They have 30-year-olds on Riverdale playing teenagers, so it's confusing. Even on The Flash this season, we have Jessica Parker Kennedy, who's in her mid-30s, playing a 27-year-old or something who acts like a 16-year-old. So who knows how old Emiko is in the Arrowverse. Now, as an added bonus with this character, I guess it would be okay to assume that Emiko will possibly have a part to play in the flash forwards this season. This storyline has so far been very vague about the whereabouts and fates of certain characters like Oliver, Diggle, Laurel, Thea, Curtis, and even Felicity. I say Felicity, is a bit vague in regards to her story in this, as they say that she is dead, but we can't be 100% certain that that is actually the case. And even they do hint at Thea's, probably dead or possibly dead, but there's no confirmation on that either. Obviously, that Mark of 4 stuff was introduced in the most recent episode of Arrow in the Flash Forwards, and there does seem to be, only one member or place left for that. And many people are predicting that this last spot will go to Laurel, and it's really to show her redemption arc and stuff like that, which I personally think could be the case. But you never know, Emiko could possibly be that last mark of the Mark of 4, or they could make it that in this future, she's the new Green Arrow, or the Green Arrow that's walking around Star City or the Glades, wherever it might be. Now this season, Arrow is taking elements from the Outsiders War with the Longbow Hunters coming in and stuff like that, and there is also a possibility of the Ninth Circle being brought in as well, which Emiko and Shadow are involved with in the comics, as well as Robert and Moira Queen, especially Moira from memory. So they could mix two storylines that Emiko does play a role in within the comics, and produce a pretty interesting storyline, because when, it was leaked that Amico was coming in, I did see a lot of people wondering, what was the purpose of this? And look, I think there's going to be some stuff from the past coming in, but there are a lot of hints to Ninth Circle stuff. We don't know what Stanley's doing, but he could be a part of the Ninth Circle. Dante with the whole Lila and Diggle thing. Dante is actually the leader of the Ninth Circle in the comics, so that could be connected there. And it's really going to be almost like a dive into some conspiracy theories and cult stuff almost that Argus with Lila and Diggle could be doing, and then it ties back into the main story. Everything this season seems to be connected. Even the flash forwards are connecting to stuff in present day with Felicity mainly. So everything seems to be connected, and it wouldn't be too surprising if Emiko's being brought in to almost gel some stuff together and just glue some stuff together as well. Now, another big question is who could be connected to Emiko's backstory? Well, obviously the obvious one is Robert, but they even could do something where maybe Malcolm Merlin trained her at the League of Assassins because she is highly trained, or maybe it was Talia al Ghul. Obviously, we have Talia al Ghul was in prison with Oliver. She was the dragon, so maybe there was some past there. She was willing to come into this season, so she'd be willing to come back and maybe do some flashbacks with Emiko. Who knows, that could be something that happens there. Another question has been will Emiko be in the rest of this season? I would say yes. I don't know why they would introduce her and have her such a mystery at the beginning of the season with this new Green Arrow and then get rid of her in 4 or 5 episodes. I'd be shocked if she left before the end of this season and didn't even continue on with the Arrow show if it got to season 8 and even further if they wanted to do that. And someone did tell me that at the beginning of last episode, she was like on the screen with like when like Emily Bett Rickards and Stephen Amell was showing up. She was on that same sort of like role. So that basically says that she's a regular for this season. That's what I've been told at least. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over. Are you excited for Emiko coming into the show? Are you a Green Arrow fan from the comics and you know, hyped to see this character in live action? And just let me know all of your different thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.